I live a short 5-minute stroll from a shopping center, where they unveiled their holiday decorations recently. My spouse and I were excited to bring our 8-month-old son for his first visit to see Santa this past weekend. My father's fiancée, however, is quite self-absorbed. Not long ago, she attempted to share news of my pregnancy online before I had the chance, and she announced their wedding date, since altered twice, during my sister's birthday celebration. While I'm not particularly fond of her, she's usually bearable. Every Christmas Eve, my close paternal relatives gather for a modest celebration. This year, my dad and his fiancée are hosting. I had planned to attend with my husband and son. Last Thursday, I had a work meeting while my husband was also occupied with his job. My dad and his fiancée came over to watch our son. Before heading out, I chatted with them and mentioned our weekend plans, including the Santa visit. When I returned, my dad's fiancée showed me photos of herself with my son at the mall, posing with Santa. There wasn't a single picture of just my son, she was in everyone. She explained that my dad wanted to rest, so she took our son for a walk. She ended up at the mall, saw the holiday display, and decided she couldn't pass up the chance for him to see Santa. To be clear, neither my husband nor I are big on Christmas, but she knew we were eager to share this moment with our son. I'm also upset that my dad slept while they were supposed to be babysitting, as we wouldn't have entrusted them with our son if we'd known it would essentially be just her. Moreover, I never gave them permission to take my child out of our home. When I confronted her, explaining we wanted to take him ourselves, she seemed baffled, insisting she didn't realize it was a big deal and just wanted to enjoy time with him. My dad brushed off my concerns, calling me overly emotional. I took my son and asked them to leave. My husband was just as frustrated as I was. We decided we wouldn't attend the Christmas Eve gathering. We'll find another way to celebrate, but we don't want to spend our son's first Christmas around her. We finalized this decision over the weekend. Many family members responded by saying they won't attend if we don't, and now my dad is pleading with me to reconsider. With over a month until Christmas, I'm questioning whether I'm overreacting. Am I wrong? Not wrong. It's troubling that she took your infant to a crowded public place without your consent while your dad slept. Don't dwell too much on the Santa issue, though. She was wrong, but your son won't recall it. Treat this as his first Santa visit. A word of caution for the future. Since she knew it was important and family members are siding with you, it speaks volumes. Here's the advice: limit what you share with her. If you must interact, avoid mentioning plans. For example, don't tell her about milestones or outings like the Santa visit. If she asks about your son's progress or plans, give vague responses like, "We're not sure yet," or "Maybe we'll try that later." This makes it less tempting for her to swoop in and take those moments. You won't need them to babysit again. No need to debate it. A hired sitter, even a teenager, is more reliable than your dad, who dozes off, and his fiancée, who takes your son on unauthorized trips to claim your firsts. Honestly, it seems like she's intentionally trying to upset you. Keep her at a distance from you and your son. My closest friend is a woman I've known since junior high, over 4 decades. She and her husband welcomed a child later in life. She was 42. Their son is wonderful, and I was among the first to hold him, right after his parents and grandmother. I've been part of his life since his birth. I'm a big kid at heart. I work a fly-in, fly-out job with a solid income. My own children are grown and independent. My wife adores having the boy around, treating him like a grandson. I enjoy his company, acting like an older sibling. We build Lego sets and play video games. I've had to brush up on Minecraft, which I'd long forgotten. I'm the go-to babysitter during my weeks off, which works well since I'm free at home. The challenge? I'm a 6-foot, 300-pound Hispanic man who looks every bit like an oilfield worker. Marcus, not his real name, is a preteen with long red hair and green eyes, so pale he could pass for an albino raised in seclusion. This weekend, I took him to a park near my house so his parents could have a break. He was having a blast, but when it was time to leave, he got cheeky and refused to come. I playfully chased him, tossed him over my shoulder, and he squirmed and laughed. That's when a woman confronted me. She demanded I put him down. Wanting to avoid trouble, I complied. She said she'd called the police and tried to pull him away. She grabbed his arm tightly. He called out for me, so I warned her to let go or we'd have a problem. Suddenly, she wasn't so bold. Marcus stood behind me and we waited for the police. She was recording me with her phone. When the officers arrived, they spoke to us separately. I'd already called my wife, who was furious. She's a petite Welsh woman who doesn't tolerate nonsense. By the time she arrived, the police had pieced things together. They were still trying to reach Marcus's parents, who were away for the weekend. My wife showed the officers an album on her phone, filled with photos of me and Marcus over the past 9 years. Then she pointed out the bruise on his arm. The police said the woman was just worried and trying to help. I asked if I'd have been excused if I'd caused the bruise. They arrested her, handcuffs and all. I don't know what happened next. Now I'm wondering if I could have handled it differently. Am I wrong for how it went down? How could I have managed it better? Not wrong. Even if she thought she was protecting the child, she had no right to touch him. When I worked in retail, we had a strict policy: never assume. We might say, having fun with your dad today, or taking care of your grandpa. If the adult's response didn't raise concerns or the child confirmed the relationship, we dropped it. You were racially profiled while playing with your friend's son in a park. The boy wasn't distressed and called for you when she intervened. He could have been your adopted son, a student, or anyone you're legitimately connected to. Instead of asking questions, she jumped to playing hero, likely for social media clout, and faced the consequences. Good riddance. I'd consider pressing charges for the bruise on Marcus. A friend of mine, pale as can be, has daughters with his Black and Latina wife. They've faced questions about his relationship with them in public. He relies on a phone album to clarify. I think it's more about being male than race. My husband and I have 2 daughters, one in elementary school and one a preteen. My sister-in-law lives nearby with her family, including 2 tween boys. Her husband, who's in the military, is often deployed. When he's away, the boys spend a lot of time at our house. They're polite and full of energy. My husband takes them to the park for soccer and they love it. My sister-in-law is grateful. When the boys aren't around, my husband takes our daughters to the park and I sometimes join. They look forward to it. But when he takes the boys, even though we encourage our girls to come, they've told me they don't enjoy it. The boys get overly competitive and it's not the relaxed fun they have with just their dad. I've taken them myself, but they say it's not the same. My husband's schedule limits his park days, and sometimes the boys come on those days. Yesterday, I asked him to talk to his sister about setting boundaries because our daughters miss their special park time with him. He seemed surprised and said the boys are great kids, their dad's away, and they enjoy coming over. I clarified that I wasn't criticizing the boys, just pointing out our daughters feel left out. He promised to encourage the girls more and keep the boys' competitiveness in check. I reminded him we've tried that, and it doesn't work for them. He said limiting the boys' visits would be unkind, and implied I was being unreasonable. Am I wrong? Not wrong. Your husband needs to realize he can't prioritize everyone equally. His daughters should come first. That doesn't mean he can't spend time with his nephews, but he needs to separate those moments. Why does he value his nephews' feelings over his daughters? It's concerning. If this continues, your girls might soon feel he prefers their cousins, and that resentment could linger. My father favored my brother, and we no longer speak. Your husband might be getting praise for being a great uncle, but being a dad doesn't earn the same public applause. There's no excuse for not having dedicated time with his daughters alongside uncle time. He's not balancing his role well, and your daughters notice. He needs to reflect on the long-term relationship he wants with them, and the example he's setting for their future relationships with men. My partner 40, male, and I 35, female, had a busy day running errands, including grabbing some groceries and a pre-made pizza. When we got home, I tried to carry too many bags inside, despite my partner warning me not to. I was stubborn. As I stepped through the door, the pizza box slipped from my hands. It was a standard takeout-style box with the pizza sealed in plastic. The box opened when it hit the ground and the pizza slid partway out. My partner got annoyed, so I hurried to clean up. In my rush, I dropped the pizza again. As I reached for it, my partner snatched it and threw it down hard. The plastic split and toppings scattered everywhere. He grabbed the remaining groceries, I put them away, and then he insisted I go buy a new pizza since I ruined the first one. I argued it was fine until he smashed it, so I refused. Am I wrong? Not wrong. He turned a minor mishap into a disaster. His outburst and lack of composure at 40 point to serious anger issues that he's directing at you? This could worsen. First, it's a pizza. Next, it might be your phone or worse. I'd reconsider the relationship. I once dated someone who got irrationally upset over small things, like when I wanted to drive instead of walk to a restaurant while on crutches. Another time, a pizza I made at his place fell off the oven rack. It was messy, but it was an accident. He acted like it ruined everything. Do you want to live like this? My parents have 5 kids. Meet teen female Emma, young teen female Max, tween male Liam, tween male, and Noah, young elementary schooler male. Noah has special needs, so our parents turned the guest room into his own bedroom to avoid disturbing the boys' sleep. Emma and I have always shared a room, and we've never gotten along well. It's been tough, and as we've grown older, I find her harder to tolerate. Emma constantly interrupts others, disregards people's belongings, and gets angry if you don't let her borrow something. She'll retaliate by damaging or taking it. She always wants to borrow, because she loses things or breaks them through carelessness, and you never get them back. We've had physical fights over her wanting my stuff when I say no. Once, she spat in my face because I wouldn't let her wear a dress my grandmother gave me as a special gift. We also clash because she hates my music and complains that it ruins our room when she's not there. I remind her it's my space too, but she doesn't care. Our fights have gotten physical enough that we've both been punished. I once got extra grounding for saying I didn't want to share a room with her anymore because I can't stand her. My parents said that's not how mature people behave, and that I don't get to make demands since I don't pay their bills. After they came down hard on me, I started staying away from home as much as possible. I got a part-time job, began doing homework and studying at friends' houses, and worked on school projects outside of school. I stay out until curfew and avoid coming home after school until then. I leave for school earlier than everyone else and study, while waiting for others to arrive. My parents aren't happy about it. They're trying to force me to stay home, but I use school, work, and homework as reasons to be out. They say I can do homework at home like before and should spend time with family. Weekends are when they push hardest, but I remind them of my fights with Emma, and they ease up slightly before saying I shouldn't fight with my sister. But if I'm home, we'll fight, and I worry it'll escalate to someone getting hurt. I know she's damaged some of my things since I started staying away, but I've had to care less. Not being there helps. My parents keep insisting I'm ruining my relationship with the family over minor sibling disputes. They call it petty. Am I wrong? Not wrong. Your parents should be addressing your sister's behavior instead of blaming you. It's unfair that they expect you to tolerate someone who spitefully destroys your things rather than parenting their difficult child. It feels like they're avoiding their own shortcomings by pressuring you to act like everything's fine. Your parents need to step up instead of guilt-tripping you. I'm sorry you're dealing with such frustrating parenting. Everyone's at fault here except your sister. She might have ADHD, a condition that can affect impulse control, explaining her interrupting, taking things, and losing them. It can seem like selfishness, but she may be struggling. Without support, this could lead to lifelong challenges. Helping her could improve your relationship.